Hello, everybody. I'm going to get more faithful about making longer videos as my business grows. Um, I'm not good at editing and all of these kinds of things. I'm a psychic. I'll get better at doing those kinds of things as we go along. But my name is Raven, and I can heal empaths. I am a psychic empath myself. So I do a lot of messages for empaths on my Instagram. That's just RavenWillow48. It'll be in the link. But this is going to be specifically for empaths. And I'm just going to go there and talk about the dark side of being an empath. And it could lead to suicide in the end. Because we get impacted by everything. So these are just some things, general practices that you can apply in your life. There are also things that I work with people on. If you don't live locally where I live, Zoom works just fine. I can remote view. It's not a problem. If you don't know what remote viewing is, that's a whole other subject. Okay, so taking care of yourself when you are an empath is paramount above all other things in your life. And I know that may sound selfish. Maybe somebody's like, I got kids, I got animals. I got animals. They're my kids. I've got besties with kids, and they're my kids. And I've got a mom I take care of. That's not what I'm saying. So, but yes, you do have to be very selfish with you and your inner being, very protective and overguarded with it. So it is an empath's nature. If you hear dogs and animals in the background, I'm psychic, I'm an empath. I've never met one that doesn't have some kind of animal. It's taking care of yourself. It's harder for empaths because it's our instinct to take care of others, right? So, one, other people's happiness is never dependent on somebody else unless you are a child and dependent upon your parents, or an animal dependent upon your people, whatever. You understand? You're not responsible for another adult's happiness, period. So just get it out of your head. It is never going to happen. If you ever hear from somebody, you're the one that's made me happy, you're the one that understands me, you're this, no, my gosh, no. Okay, that's another point I will get to further down. But so you need to be yourself in just everyday life. You cannot be embarrassed about who you are, and just being yourself is love. It's just love. That's what empaths are. So if you just be your happy self and don't let anybody take that from you, and don't overgive to people, you will make people happy in a short amount of time for whatever, and that's good enough. Because the people that do not give that back to you, you do not give it to them ever. Okay? So I understand relationships and people and things are a big old roller coaster, and life is messy, and everything can just be fucktarded, right? So that is your responsibility to keep this as even and as you as possible. Period. So you only give the love that you could give to something that will give it back. I don't care if that is an animal. I don't care if that is a tree you can get to grow because you're an energy healer, and I don't care. Only give it to what can give it back. Okay? So, because what happens is you are a magnet for people that abuse other people, other creatures, other living anything. You're a magnet for them. These people have obviously gone through whatever they have gone through in their life. Fine. I have too. I've gone through things that have literally put me on the brink of death. I'm not out there being destructive to everybody and trying to systematically ruin people's lives. That's their choice. So it could be an empath that turned it off when they grew up and went through an abusive situation that could turn you into a narcissist. I'm not a psychologist. This is just theories in my head based on observations. I read people, different things like that. So to avoid getting just to not have these situations, you need to know yourself. And the best way to know yourself is to spend time with only yourself. Okay. And I know that's a slippery slope with empaths, because once we get in the depression route, the sadness route, we like to isolate. So but you need to find that happy balance. It can be found. And that's some of the things that I help people with in session. Um, there's also, any kind of identity issue, no matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter to me. I only see human. That's all I have ever seen my entire existence. So I've kind of always said I'm alien. Whatever somebody wants to label themselves as, you go right ahead, rock it. I just see human. So those kind of things can also bring in, abuse and trauma and, you know, attacks from society, from so many different directions that, mind blowing. I'll get into social media as we talk to. Um, so I am sorry for any human being who has ever had to deal with what other human beings have created in a bad, bad way. I am so sorry. As long as there is actual love behind something, that's the people I get behind. So, just so everybody out there knows, that is where I stand. Let's not have any hates or anything else on this page. Thank you. Okay, so social media. I do not spend a lot of time on social media. I kind of do it because I have to try to get business and get myself out there and all that, these things. And that's fine. And I do have a personal page and I check it once in a while if I'm bored and sitting there, like I'm not so engaged in it that I have to know what's going on. I I'm an empath. I don't need to look at what the hey is going on everybody's feed to know everything, blah, blah, blah. If I am connected to somebody, I know what's going on with them. I don't need to read it. I know, right? You also do not want to put too much of yourself out there because, one, that's asking for attention, which is something an empath, you don't want to go down that route of, self-esteem, looking for attention. And that's, what empaths really fall into. So those are the things that I work on with people when we have sessions, and it can go anywhere from Reiki to full-on psychic to, I've astral projected with the client before. So wherever it takes us to help that person go where they need to go. So me being an empath and me going through some absolutely devastating, which is something I might get into in other videos, but not here. I want to help other empaths because the world needs us, and we are the enlightened people. A lot of you are indigo children. A lot of you aren't, but a lot of you are. If you don't know what that is, look it up. You're probably born in the 1970s. Get into indigo children on another day. But be careful with social media and how much time you spend on it, period, with any kind of media. Um, even working too much with media. You need to get out. You need to get in nature somehow. You need to connect yourself and ground yourself. So, whatever that is for you, and I know some people live in cities. Do you have plants in your house? Most empaths, you need an animal. So, that is almost paramount to an empath. Some people can't have them for various reasons, but living things that do not bring an agenda, as in humans. Empaths need breaks from human activity. That's why spending too much time on social media is bad. And you do not also want to get caught up in all this propaganda that comes from every single different direction all over the place. You don't need that overload of doom and gloom from every direction all the time. You'll get caught up on the news. You'll get caught up on social media within 10 minutes of looking at it and be like, okay, everybody's still fucktarded, right? You don't need it all the time. So limit yourself on it and keep your private life private. It's important. I know there's people that, really put stuff out there. I'm not comfortable with that. If that's your life and those are the things that you want to do, that is awesome. But remember, you are an empath, so you have to find a way to protect yourself. Period. So here I am on a media. I haven't had this YouTube page very long. I've had other media for a very long time, client base for a very long time. But yeah, if I start getting hateful people coming at me, I understand one that's going to happen because I am very blunt. I'm very brash. Not everybody is going to like me. Um, but I'm also very compassionate and I am also full of love and I just want to spread positivity. So I don't care what people think of how I look. I don't care what people think of what I'm doing. I am literally just being myself. And if in things that I have gone through and the gifts that I have can help other people protect themselves and enhance the gifts that they have and better the world, awesome. That's how I see it. So I other than that, I really don't care what people say. You either want my help or you don't. You just have to leave it at that, pretty much, if you're an empath, because you just can't get this constant bombardment. You have to find some way to say, okay, it's gone for whatever, and block it out and don't take it in because it can be so toxic. It's very toxic. Um, and then once, if you know anybody that's in some kind of bullying situation online, I don't even know how that would be, but I do have some teenagers as clients that I've helped through trauma. Um, I would just say, just delete your social media. Just there's no point. It's just gone. There's no repairing. Like waste of time. Anyway, so all of these things can lead to isolation for an empath. So you get depressed, you get sad, you want to isolate, you want to curl up, you just want to disappear. You don't care where that is, you just want to disappear. And you wish you could just pull that like, and just like fade away and just come out when you want to come out, right? To make it stop. Just make it stop. That's what that's what constant when you're in pain, that's what an empath thinks about. Make it stop. Make it stop. So depression and isolation can run big time in empaths, and especially because you're a target for bad people, childhood trauma, things like that. I am not a psychiatrist, but we all know the road that goes on. Don't need to go there. So it's so important for empaths to learn how to protect themselves. Now, I choose to work from home. I choose to do run my life the way that I run my life because I am very much a homebody. I'm also a Libra, so that and makes me a homebody too because I like balance. I'm also very social when I want to go out and be social, but my empath in me, it's like, okay, when I want to come out and be like, okay, here I am, that's when I will be. Otherwise, this is my time. Don't bug me. So I'm very much a homebody. I used to work outside of the home like everybody else and have that career thing and whatever and have to be there from this time to this time every single day and the same freaking problems. And then corporate America comes in and buys a little bit. It's like, and I would come home every day and I would literally just, it would be 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, and just want to go right into my bed and just go right to sleep. I was so exhausted, just exhausted. So you have to find what works well for you. And that applies to family and that applies to friends. You have to find the whole shebang. People have to have roommates sometimes the whole sorry, I have a class that's coming up very fast. I have alarms for everything to keep me straight. Um, so you have to have that balance with all of your family, all of your friends. It's basically make sure you have that, whatever that time is for yourself, make sure you have it, whatever that is, and however you have to get it. So take time for yourself, know yourself, learn yourself, and never let anybody take it from you, ever. There's never any maybes, there's never any conforming to anybody else, or no. If you mesh with somebody, you mesh with somebody. You don't need to question it. Think about like your besties, man. Think about like your family peeps that are just like, those are your people. Like, you never have to question it. It is instant. You know it. Stop questioning it. Be yourself. Get your own hobbies, whether it's art, I don't know, hiking, outdoors, skydiving. Set goals and make them, try, because that keeps you positive. So you have to have a positive state of mind. You have to keep that state of mind as an empath, or start to fall down. Because remember, happiness and love, those feelings. Like if you have an animal, if you have a child, that feeling that you get from them when you embrace them, it's very quiet, but it's so powerful. So it's so much easier for the anger and the loudness and the to get in. So you have to find a way to keep it out. Don't start questioning others' motives when you get into relationships. You go out with somebody, get a new friend, or whatever it is. I don't know. And you start, well, maybe they're just weird. Maybe this, or it's a joke, or I don't know. You start to questioning people's motives, and if you have to do, your mind does that for 1 single second, it is not a good situation. Remember, you don't have to question people's motives when they're your people. You get each other. It doesn't have to be spoken. So that is the next thing I'm going to get to. Do not listen to people's words. This whole generousness of words is how they get people. When you click with somebody, you love somebody, no matter what kind of love that is, no matter what kind of relationship, whatever, it doesn't matter. You get them, they get you. It doesn't have to be spoken. You do not have to be love bombed. You do not, and when you know yourself, you do not need to be told, oh, you're this, and oh, you're that, and oh my gosh, and it's like, I know, and that's why you're with me, right? And that's why I'm with you. It does not need to be spoken. If you have somebody that's speaking and they're not doing, no, stop questioning people. You're doing that, it's not good. Now, you need to start understanding the feelings of different kinds of energy as well, because you've got energy coming at you from all over the place, from people, from spirits, from paranormal, from aliens, from EMF, from it just electronics, from everywhere, energy. Okay, the entire earth is energy. So you have to find a way to block, but you have to learn what that energy is, what it feels like, where it's coming from, what is its intention, all of those things. So these are other things that I teach in session. What do these things really feel like? And when you feel that love from like an animal, that pure love, child, remember what that feels like. Okay. Hold on to that kind of energy, that feeling. That is your goal in life right there. If you cannot feel that with somebody, with something, it's not good for you because you are an empath. You need somebody that can give back to you because you are such a giver. Otherwise, they will suck you dry. There is no in between. You either have somebody that gets you and supports you and pumps you up, or somebody that drags you down. There's no in between. So understand that you are completely different from other people, and your levels of feeling things, of sensing things, of reading people, of reading situations. If you're like me, I see spirit, I communicate with spirit. I can read humans conscious when we go into Reiki sessions. So I am a powerful energy healer as well. I've helped people with trauma, but I've also helped spirits move on, um, finding out what they need and what is going on. I've helped people with paranormal problems. So all of these things can just like, boom, 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 like you're around it. And if you're not familiar with what is going on, you're all messed up in the head. And you also have to think, okay, if you're all of a sudden just like, oh my gosh, I just like want to cry and start to think, is there some reason that I really should be sad right now? And if there's not, then start paying attention to what is going on around you with people, with other energy. If you can't see stuff like that, then you go see somebody like me so I can tell you what the hey is going on around you. Most empaths have some kind of psychic ability, and if you're not acknowledging it, harnessing it, you start to get anxiety and all kinds of other issues too. So empaths go through a lot. So that's why I decided to focus on empaths for my little Instagram reels and talks and these videos, because there hasn't really been an advocate for empaths to specifically help empaths. So I heal empaths, I work with empaths, and I hope that some of these videos start to get out to help other people. Just always remember, keep it clean, keep it within loving interest on this page. Everybody is just human, period. Equal. period, on this page. Okay? So, namaste. I am a Reiki master, and I don't always need to speak like that because I'm very brash and things like that. But love, peace out, and I will keep posting, you guys.